Please read this disclaimer carefully before proceeding further. Welcome traders, this is Vic here. In this video we'll be looking at how to generate signals using VATA Trend Algo indicator. Now if you have been following my analysis either on TradingView or YouTube or any other social channels, then you know that I use Fibonacci confluence patterns based analysis to generate these kind of zones which are high probability zones in the market. Market tend to come to those zones and either reverse or kind of give us breakout opportunities. Right, so if you have actually gone through a training, or if you understand what I'm trying to do here on these analysis, then you know how to trade them, how to enter the market based on these analysis. However, if you are not one of them who is too much involved into technical analysis, or you just want to look for very good opportunities quite easily, then I'll suggest that you should actually look at the VATA Trend Algo indicator, because I use that personally as well at times to actually generate signals for myself and to enter the market. So in this video I'm going to show you what we could have done in the past week based on my analysis, and how VATA Trend algorithm could have actually helped me in enter the market. So we'll start with US30, and my analysis on US30 was that market was coming to this particular zone, and we could short this market all the way to this level, which is 25189. So we were going to short from 27180, and we were looking for a profit target around 25189. So that has already worked, obviously. So what we're going to do is actually look at the same thing on MT4, because VATA Trend Algo indicator works on MT4. So let's just keep it there, and we go to MT4 and we make sure that we are looking at the right pair. So I'll bring US30, so that's US30 chart, and now what I will do is I will bring in VATA Trend, and then I'll bring VATA Trend Shift. And before we go any further, I'll change it to strict mode so as to get the best possible signals. I changed the alert settings. If you want, you can actually use those settings to alert you whenever there is an opportunity. Right, so what we need to do is come here and look at that zone. So we need to have a zone around 27180, right? So we go back here and we form a line. So 27180. So that's the line, and that is the zone we were looking at. And you can see that VATA Trend was able to actually identify that signal. This is the red arrow, and right there the trend has changed. So what we need to do is actually look at the bottom part first. The color has to change from green to red. This color does not change very easily because it needs to fulfill a few conditions in the market before it can actually safely say that market trend is about to shift. When that happens, around the same time you should receive an arrow right there, and if they are in sync right there, then you can actually take a trade. So even if you are not very conversant with the technical analysis and all that, you can use VATA Trend Algo to generate signals for you. So this will automatically alert you that okay, I've got a signal. Once this candle has closed, then you should take a short trade, and in this particular trade we were able to pick up these many points, and obviously your stop loss has to be above the previous structure, or if you're using any other strategy to manage your stop loss ATR or structure or Fibonacci or whatever, use that, so that your reward to risk is actually pretty good. So that's US30. So this turned out to be very good profitable trade. Let's look at another one. Let's look at S&P 500 because we shorted it from 3228, and then we took another one. So the analysis was that there was a zone around here, and I mentioned that around 3228 we were going to look for a short opportunity. So this was actually this kind of information was given in the Telegram group and here on TradingView as well. So what we need to do is go to the S&P 500 chart on MT4, and then draw this line and look for any kind of VATA Trend based indication that I could have. So if I bring S&P 500, and now we need to draw 3228. So 3228 is the line. We'll just change that 228, and we can see that right there a VATA Trend was able to identify that there was a change in the trend. The market has turned into bearish category now, and there was an indication. So based on this, we could have actually entered the market and we could have profited this much, right? And yesterday, actually not yesterday, on Friday, I also mentioned that this level was very important level and we could actually have a day trade kind of opportunity. Now for day trade, obviously we need to go to the lower time frame, and so for that we need to come to 1 hour time frame. And on 1 hour time frame, we can see that market gave us a very good indication and we were able to take the short position. If you want to fine tune your entry, then you could have actually gone to 15-minute or 30-minute chart to see what could have happened. This was the level, and the reason behind that was because this was a Fibonacci level at 30.2. so near about 3088 was the level that I gave in the Telegram, and if you wanted, you could have used the VATA Trend Algo to enter the market and could have benefited from this particular move. So that's how it can be worked. So that's S&P 500. Now let's look at Nasdaq. And in the Nasdaq, I mentioned that we were actually looking for these two particular zones, and I also mentioned that this is almost reached. That means the market was already there in the zone when I posted this idea, and I knew that it could actually fall from there. And since then, this is what has happened. I'm not sure whether you can see, but there was a huge fall which actually engulfed previous 5-6 days worth of data. So let's look at Nasdaq now. For Nasdaq, I bring that one and I go to the 4 hour time frame to see where we were. And now what we need to do is actually look at that. We need to form that line, draw that line. So it is 10102. So if I go back here and I click on this line 10102, okay, this is where we provided the zone, and what I was able to actually identify that because the trend changed and there was a signal, so based on that we could have actually entered and profited from these many points. So it's very powerful, but what you need to do is actually either train yourself in like a little bit of technical analysis, or what you can do is if somebody is providing you with some analysis which you can trust upon, then you can use the VATA Trend Algo indicator to enter the market yourself. Right, so that's Nasdaq, and then let's move on. We go to now gold, XAUUSD. So there is another opportunity that I posted, that market was completing this W pattern, and we could actually see day trade kind of opportunity for a little bit of profit target. So let's look at gold. I'll bring in gold, and what we need to do is actually go to the level here, and the level was near about 1735.67. so 1735.67, we need to draw a line 1735.67, and that's where we were. So this was the point where the signal was signal is expected from VATA Trend Algo, and this is the signal that we received. I know that market has been consolidating here, but we know that this is creating kind of M pattern, and when the M pattern completes, the market is expected to go down. So market can do its own thing. However, the VATA Trend Algo was able to give a very nice signal around here. The trend has shifted and we got an arrow, so we could have entered here. Now we're still in little negative. Your stop loss has to be somewhere around here above the structure. As I mentioned before, you can use your your own strategy using ATR or whatever you want to use. So stop loss, I'm assuming that you're putting your stop loss around here, so you are in little negative and you're hoping to hit your profit target based on the analysis. So that's gold, and let's look at AUDUSD. On AUDUSD we had a couple of opportunities. One was this entire zone which was posted for swing trading, but inside this zone we were able to identify this W pattern which was completing in this yellow zone, and since then this has happened. The market has actually fallen since then from that, and now it is actually struggling in that zone. We are expecting it to actually fall down even further when the market actually picks up momentum. It's quite possible that market may actually come back up because it's creating a W pattern, but we do not have to worry if you are swing trading. If you're day trading, then we can see how it could have actually played out and how VATA Trend Algo could have actually helped. So let's look at AUDUSD, and our line is going to be around 7,000. 0.7. So let's bring in AUDUSD. This is AUDUSD, and if I draw a line for 7,000, this is the line right there, and as you can see that market was able to actually give us a signal right there, and there was a little bit of retest here, but there was a better signal around here. So if you are not 100% sure where we want to enter, then you could have actually just taken this secondary signal. But remember that this signal was given for a day trade opportunity or a fine-tuned entry for swing trade. So if you're day trading, then you probably should not be using H4. You should be using H1 time frame. On H1 time frame, this was the level, and we got a very nice indication right there that after this market was supposed to fall. The trend was shifted and there was an arrow, and since then it has been falling all the way down. This was near about 214 pips on AUDUSD. So once this arrow came back up, you could have actually closed that, or you could have closed your trade once it has reached your profit target level. So that's how we could have actually played out on AUDUSD. Now let's go to the next one, which is S&P 500, which we have already covered. Let's look at USDCAD. Okay, on USDCAD, I posted this analysis that market has completed this M pattern, and in this zone we were expected to actually go higher. And since then market has done this, and it was able to, at the time of posting of this, it was 114 pips, but I think it can actually, after a little bit of downward movement, it can go even higher. So how we could have used VATA Trend Algo indicator in this zone to enter the market? So let's go and bring in USDCAD. So that's USDCAD, and we go to the daily time frame. Then we look at our entry zone. Entry zone is around 133774. 133774. Right, so we draw a line to see where that entry point could have been. 33774 right there, and we can see on daily there is an indication, but that is for a longer period of time. What we need to do is go to the 4-hour time frame and look for an entry. So this was our first entry right there. You could have entered right there, or you could have entered at the secondary one. So if you missed this, there was a better opportunity right there. Now we should ignore this red arrow right there, because we are looking for only long opportunities. Why? Because our analysis is telling us that market is supposed to go higher. So if it is supposed to go higher, if there is any false confirmation, false thing that market is actually giving us, then we should completely ignore that. So I would have ignored that. I would have stayed long from here, or I could have actually entered in here, or I could have entered the first position and then built up the second position right there. And if you had entered, let's say from here, you could have made very easily 200 pips or so. This is near about 194 pips. So this was very easy kind of trade. All you have to do is just follow the analysis. You need to have a solid analysis. Either you do it yourself or you follow someone, and then you use the VATA Trend Algo to choose the direction in which you want to trade. Okay, so that's USDCAD. Let's look at GBPUSD. On GBPUSD, I posted that this is the zone that we are looking for, and we were expecting market to actually fall back down, and it did actually. For the first time it fell down, and then we were looking for a better opportunity if it comes back into the zone. Since then market came back in the zone, and then it fell back down. So how we could have entered using VATA Trend Algo indicator? Okay, so our entry should have been around 1.275, so 27526. So let's bring in GBPUSD, go to the daily, draw a line to see where it can be. Okay, let's go back. 27526. 27526. Okay, so this is our level right there. We are looking at daily time frame, so obviously it is going to give us a little bit delayed signal right there, but we enter on 4 hour or 1 hour, so we go to the 4 hour, and this was our signal right there. You could have actually entered on here because this completed the zone, but this was the first entry. So remember, if I go back, this was the first fall, but after the first fall we were expecting it to go back deeper into the zone and then fall back down, right? So that means this fall was already finished. We wanted it to go back inside the zone and then fall back. So this is the perfect entry based on VATA Trend algorithm. The market trend has shifted, there is an indication right there, and that means we could have actually taken that trade and made near about 200 pips or so on GBPUSD. We will completely ignore this because we are looking for short opportunities. Why? Because our analysis is telling us that there could be a little bit of fake upward movement, and we are looking for a short opportunity in this zone. This is high probability reversal zone, so we are only looking for short opportunities, and that is why this is a fake signal that market has given us. So we'll just ignore that. We'll only focus on the shorting opportunity. So this was the perfect signal. Your stop should have been above the previous structure or any other strategy that you might use, and your profit target should be based on the analysis. So we could have actually benefited near about 200 pips on GBPUSD using VATA Trend. Now let's look at the other example. Okay, we have already seen AUDUSD, so we are not going to look that again. Let's look at NZDUSD. So this was the idea that I posted. I was expecting it to come to 0.65787 and then fall from there, and it actually did. So let's look at NZDUSD and see if VATA Trend could have actually helped us in taking that trade. So I'm going to bring NZDUSD, and then we go to the daily time frame and we go back to our analysis. 65787. 65787. Was that right? Yep. Okay, so that is the line, and we go to the 4-hour time frame to make sure that we get better entry chance, and this is the one. Market was shifting the trend right there, and we got an indication, so we could have entered there. If you wanted, you could have actually waited for secondary signal. So if you entered here, you could have made near about 90 pips or so on NZDUSD. If you had entered based on this candle, you would have made near about 100 pips or so on NZDUSD. Again, pretty much like the previous settings, because we are looking only for reversal opportunities, only for shorting opportunities here. We will completely ignore this fake signal that market has given us, and there was no change in the color either. So this is a complete fake signal, so we'll just ignore that. We only look for a short opportunity because our analysis is for bearish bias. So on NZDUSD, you could have made near about 100 pips. So as you can see, VATA Trend Algo indicator has provided hundreds of pips of profit in 1 week alone, and that's what we need. We do not need so many trades. What we need is just like accurate analysis and then some way to enter the market. So if you are not very familiar with like technical analysis, or if you are not feeling confident enough to actually enter the market based on some analysis, then what you can make use of VATA Trend Algo indicator. This can actually give fairly accurate signals, but if you have a little bit of knowledge of technical analysis, then it actually works better, because then you will be able to make better informed decisions. Your reward to risk profit is going to be increased if you use this indicator along with any technical analysis knowledge that you have. Right, so if you're interested in actually looking for VATA Trend Algo indicator subscription, you should go to Vikinsa.com, and under trading section you'll find it, algorithmic trading, and here it is. On this page you'll find all the information. There is a guide, video guide, which actually shows how to actually use this indicator, and there are few FAQs and other information. Thank you for watching. Find and follow us on these social media channels.